Welcome back, guys. For the record, number 13 of the year. I'm your co-host, Jake Subcheck.
I'm your other co-host, Ethan Busso.
And, Ethan, this week, college football, a couple good games, but overall, kind of boring.
Yeah, not any really many exciting ranked matchups happened this weekend, but one big thing that happened was that Oregon losing to Arizona State.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I was not expecting that.
Especially just how good they've looked in recent weeks, and to go out and look that bad. Justin Herbert playing that bad against a team that's barely over 500.
I mean, Oregon does this every year. They drop a game.
Oregon out of the playoff conversation, and I think that
officially
with the whole app, including, I think that just takes the Pac-12 out completely because I don't see Utah making it in to the playoff, especially even with the win over Oregon in the Pac-12 title game potentially. I think that eliminates the Pac-12 from playoff contention.
I think it does too. Again.
But now you're thinking what team gets that 4th spot?
I think it might be Alabama or Georgia. I think it's going to be another SEC team's going to get in, unfortunately. I think it's just going to be – there's not really any other team. Maybe a Big 12 champ as in Oklahoma.
I just think Oklahoma has just had way too many close games. I mean, if you look at it, again, Kansas State was their loss. Baylor, again, solid team, but you were trailing 28-3 in that game. You barely beat TCU. You barely beat Iowa State. You barely beat Texas.
Yeah, and it's, you have to play Oklahoma State this weekend. Oklahoma State's dangerous.
Yeah, it's going to be, if they can't stop the run, they're going to be in trouble.
Chuba Hubbard is one of the best running backs in college football right now.
Mm-hmm. Ohio State handled Penn State at home. Penn State made it a close one for a little bit there, but Ohio State seemed to dominate.
Still a really good game. I thought it was really fun to watch.
Turnovers seem to be the issue for Ohio State, with a fumble from Justin Fields while he was falling into the end zone. Could have made it a 4-score game, 3-score game.
J.K. Dobbins dominated on the ground. 157 yards.
Throughout that game, Chase Young.
Best player in college football.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, I think if anybody deserves a Heisman over Burrow, it'd have to be Chase Young, considering he's missed 2 games, 16 and a half sacks. I saw someone that said Texas
has only 18
sacks, and they've played 2 more games than Chase Young has. So Chase Young will probably have more sacks, considering he probably played 2 more games than Texas.
At least, yeah.
He's probably gonna have 22 sacks at the end of the season.
Chase Young is ridiculous.
He's the best player in college football, one of the best defensive players to come in until, arguably the other Ohio State D end, Bosa.
Yeah, and J.J. Watt tweeted out, this guy's something special, and that's just kind of one of the best defensive players in the NFL is tweeting out about Chase Young. Chase Young is going to be ridiculous in the NFL.
Expect him to be the number 1 pick this year. Any other games really stand out to you?
I got to say, the one game that really stood out to me was the Michigan-Indiana game. Indiana's a solid team. I think Michigan is just on a tear right now. They are playing some of the best football they've been playing in Jim Harbaugh's era.
And this coming weekend, it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Ohio State's favored by, I think it was 8.5. It's going to be a good game, especially, being in the big house.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this game. And Harbaugh's still looking for his first win against Ohio State while he's been at Michigan. If he can get it this year, especially right now, he's on the hot seat for not being able to really do anything as the coach. It would be huge.
Another game that stood out to me, especially the Nebraska game. But they went into it only favored by 5.5, won the game by 47. Just a big game.
They found their groove.
I know Maryland's 3-8 with 1 Big Ten win, but the 47-point win was just something we really needed. The black shirts looked well. McCaffrey, they had him playing a kind of a slot receiver position just to try it out. They wouldn't actually do that against a big team, but big game this weekend. It's a must win for the Huskers, and I'd like to see them get it on Friday.
Honestly, I think they can do it. I think they can beat Iowa this weekend.
Iowa hasn't impressed me much offensively. Nate Stanley on the lower half of the QBs in the Big Ten. but I definitely think they can win the game. I just don't know if they will.
Yeah, if Martinez plays like he did this weekend, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, that's still pretty solid.
He had another one on the ground, and he added 100 yards rushing to that too. So
He needs to play like that for Nebraska to be successful. With the absence of a good, solid starting running back, they need that.
We're gonna need to win the turnover the margin. I think that's gonna be the key to the game. But this weekend, one of the biggest weekends we've had in a while.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
A
for
lot
this
on
weekend.
the line for most of these teams that are playing.
It's rivalry weekend.
Every weekend, big
It's my
weekend.
favorite weekend of college football besides opening weekend.
Favorite game this weekend? What are you thinking?
I mean, me as a Notre Dame fan, Notre Dame Stanford catches my eye immediately, but this Michigan Ohio State game is going to be awesome to watch.
Oh, can't wait for it. Michigan looks like they completely turned the season around.
Yeah, they really have, and you even got Auburn Alabama. You got to watch that game too without Tua, and it's going to be huge to see if they can pull off the win.
I think it's in Auburn, correct? I think it's going to be a huge game for Auburn. They need this win, but Alabama, if they want to make a shot at the playoff, they're going to have to win this game.
Yeah, they do, but I don't think Auburn can get in the playoffs no matter if they win this game or not. They're not even competing for the SEC title anymore. They already have 2 losses. I just don't think it's possible.
Another one, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
That'll be a fun game to watch. Those teams are probably an even matchup.
Winner takes the Big Ten West. It's in Minnesota. Winner has to play Ohio State. Kind of a death trap. You win and you have to go play Ohio State.
Yeah, seriously. And Ohio State still.
But, could you see Minnesota making the playoff with a win here and a win against Ohio State?
100%.
I think there's no way that you can keep them out.
Especially with the resume. You got Penn State, Ohio State, and Wisconsin on your resume of wins.
Yeah, I think they would go up against – you could compare that against Georgia.
Oh, 100%.
And who's your one loss to? Your one loss to Penn State – or what, Iowa?
Iowa.
Your one loss to Iowa.
Who's a solid ranked team.
And Georgia's one loss is to South Carolina.
Yeah.
I think that South Carolina loss hurts Georgia so much because it kind of just takes away their dominance a little bit, being able to lose to an unranked team like that.
I think another game you got to watch is the Texas A&M LSU game. If you remember last year, that game went the highest scoring game of all time. In 7 overtimes? That was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying you got to watch that game. I know A&M is still dangerous, I think.
They're 7-4, and if you look at it, this is their 3rd time playing in the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
They played Clemson, they're number 1. They played Alabama, and they're number 1. They got to play LSU, and they're number 1. They played Georgia, number 4 last week, and they had to play number 8 Auburn. At the time, Auburn is number 8.
Yeah, A&M, they're banged up. They've had a really hard schedule.
There's nothing here has told me that A&M is not a solid team when you look at the teams they've played.
And each of these in their games, they're all relatively close.
Yeah, Alabama was their farthest win, but Georgia they were only 6 points away from. Auburn, I think it was a touchdown game. Clemson,
it was a 2-possession game.
I think you could have. I think LSU at home, when these defensive struggles. I think if it was in Texas A&M, I think we could think of a trap game type thing right here. But I think LSU should win it, but it's kind of tough for A&M.
You just gotta watch it.
It's tough for A&M to have to play this schedule.
I think that game and the Oklahoma State game are my 2 games on upset alert this week.
Yeah, I could see Oklahoma 100% losing this game. But it's the QB issues for Oklahoma State is going to be the killer.
They're on their, 3rd string at this point?
QB.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's going to be all on Chuba this week. Which, it's not like it hasn't been all season, but it's going to be a lot more on him now.
It's weird that Jalen Hertz is the leading rusher for Oklahoma.
That is weird. You normally expect the running back, but Oklahoma's lack of a run game, another killer here this season. But,
this is why I'm saying I just don't think I don't think Jalen Hurts is a real Heisman candidate in my opinion. Every time he goes against a real defense, he turns the ball over, he loses, and he just doesn't play very well in his team. And I don't know. I just don't think he's a real candidate.
Right. Playoff prediction. Who do you think it's going to be?
Oh, man. I think it's going to be, the usual 3. Same 3 we've had all year. LSU, Clemson, and Ohio State. And I think my 4th team, man, now that Oregon lost, I got to say I think it's going to be Alabama.
Yeah, I think there's no question. You have to put Alabama in there next.
They really didn't skip a beat without Tua this past weekend.
Again, I could see Georgia beating LSU, but
I think if Georgia beats LSU, you can't hold LSU out of the playoff because the next team up there is Alabama, a team they beat. But I'll take LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Alabama. Now that Oregon's out, I think the next spot goes to Alabama.
Yeah, and it's because Alabama's losing Tua, but does it really matter?
I mean, if you look at how talented that wide receiving core is, and even how solid they are all around, you're just not even keep them out.
Yeah, and I think it's to be so much. Do you think? What if South Carolina pulls off another huge upset this weekend against Clemson?
Again, they're a team that was able to beat Georgia when they played them. Clemson has to go into South Carolina, but Clemson's playing
Some
of the best football they have been since dropping in the playoff rankings. So they're looking to kind of make this statement going into the end of the season. I think that should do it for
college football. Yeah.
Moving on to the NFL. Anything you saw this weekend?
Not
particularly.
It was kind of a quiet week. I didn't expect the Houston win by only 3 points.
I kind of thought that Indianapolis would win the game. I actually did. With Brissett back, they look so much better with Brissett, and especially the way Houston played against the Ravens the week before. But Houston got the win, took control of the division so far. I think one game that really stood out to me was New England versus Dallas. As a Dallas fan, watching them lose in that fashion, I think Jason Garrett's got to go. I think you got to fire him. Some of the play call there on 3rd and short in the red zone, you can't come up with 3 field goals and expect to beat the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Another game was San Francisco beat Green Bay by 29.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I was not expecting that.
Green Bay was like 8-2 going into it. It's not something that you can't be 8-2
and get absolutely blown out.
Lose a game by 29 points.
Yeah, I don't. What do you think happened there?
I couldn't tell you what it is. The 49ers look so good though, defensively too. I mean, they gave up 1 touchdown.
Garoppolo, man, he's playing some good football right now.
I think the 49ers are the best team in the NFC right now, and definitely the top Super Bowl contender from the NFC.
Yeah, 100%. So that should be about it for the NFL. Besides, who do you think is going to MVP? Who's your MVP right now?
I think it's still Lamar Jackson. As of now, you have to take Lamar Jackson. The way he's been leading this team is unbelievable. But that's what I take. You thinking the same thing, or
either Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson?
Yeah, Russell Wilson definitely a candidate. I think it just comes down to the Ravens right now are the number 1 team in football.
Yeah.
So I think that's what really puts Lamar Jackson over the edge.
I completely agree with you. So that should wrap it up for NFL.
I think that pretty much not much that we can talk about anywhere else. Just a big weekend, especially football.
Well, I just want to say that college basketball, they're starting to come back up. It's the tournament. A lot of these preseason tournaments are starting up pretty soon. This weekend, the Maui Jim Invitational is starting up.
Mm-hmm.
That Invitational alone has number 3 Michigan State, number 10 Ohio State, and number 4 Kansas. That's something that you want to keep your eye on this week.
Something I'm very excited to see, considering we haven't seen that many top-ranked matchups yet, besides the very first day.
Which was the Classics Invitational, and Duke ended up winning that, actually. Surprisingly. I didn't expect Duke to win that.
I think we need to see some from college football or college basketball because it's been kind of boring. But again, it's going to heat up. It's still early in the season, but we like to see some of these ranked matchups.
Yeah,
very soon.
I just love college basketball. It's probably my second favorite thing besides college football. Honestly, for me at least. I know you're a big NFL guy.
I'm a big NFL guy. I like the NBA too. Just college basketball. I'm kind of waiting for it to get into interconference play. That's when you see some of the really good things going on inside
especially
the
between ACC. Oh my goodness!
You see North Carolina, Virginia, Louisville, and Duke.
ACC this year is going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially Notre Dame. You gotta say Notre Dame is a dark horse right now in the ACC. In my opinion, they're like 4-1, 5-1 right now, and they're playing some good basketball.
I mean, look at that 1 losses too.
Yeah,
North Carolina, they played them hard.
And Cole Anthony was an absolute animal during that one game. So
Cole
Anthony might be
right now. To me, he's the best player in college basketball.
Or that guy from Memphis,
Wiseman.
Yeah, He's an absolute animal too.
I think that should do it.
Yeah, that should probably be it.
But big weekend. We're gonna be back here next week, and probably a lot to talk about next week.
Yeah, next week I have to come back from Thanksgiving. Who plays on Thanksgiving this year, Van?
Dallas normally plays.
The Lions usually play, right?
Yeah, the Cowboys play the Bills. Let's see who else plays. You got Chicago at home, or Chicago in Detroit, and you have New Orleans in Atlanta.
I feel like Detroit and Chicago play every year on Thanksgiving.
Detroit, Chicago, and Dallas are pretty much the 3 teams that you get to normally see on Thanksgiving, which I like as a Cowboys fan to see Dallas play every week.
I don't mind seeing those Midwest teams play. But yeah, that'll be. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving this week. And yeah,
big weekend next week. Big weekend. We'll be back next week.
All right, thanks for listening, guys.